Part 3, Topic Science. Question number 1. Why do some children not like learning science at school? Well, it depends on various types of reasons, but let's take me as an example. I am studying major in English. However, I still have to study science subjects like physics or chemistry or biology. I am not really into this kind of subjects. However, I still have to learn it. So we can take a conclusion that students don't really like to study science at school because it is not their interest. Simply, it's just not their interest. But they are forced to, which leads to the feelings of hate or maybe detest learning those type of science subjects. Secondly, science at school it is taught um, in a illogical way. I mean, they just teach you about hypothesis and just some theory, which is kind of theoretically, and those science subjects are taught in a theoretically way, which students cannot absorb or understand those well. They are not allowed to study to do some experiment or something like that. So I think that's kind of simpler, a symbol of science educational systems in Vietnam, which makes quite many children don't like to study science subject. Question number 2, is it important to study science at school? Well, I do believe that science is important to be taught at school. Firstly, children have to go to school at an early age. So when they study science when the school teaches science, children are be able to be exposed with those science subjects at an early age, which helps them to understand those as a really young age and increases their interest in those kind of science subjects. Secondly, schools and educational system, national educational system seems to have reliable resources and knowledge. I mean, the knowledge are taught at school to the children seems more accurate than those that can found in books and that can found in on the internet or something like that. So yeah, I assume that it is important for children to study science at school. Question number 3, which science subjects is the most important for children to learn? Well, I have to say that there are quite a few science subjects. We can name them out like math, physics, chemistry, biology. However, as far as I know, as far as my knowledge, I believe that math is still the one of the most important, most critical science subject that we have to learn. Um, there are 3 main reasons for this. Firstly, math relates to logical thinking, and when you are able to study math well, you will be able to think logically and arrange your ideas, your thinking in a logic way, which can help you a lot in thinking, debating, and supporting your talking skills or debating skills or giving speech skills. Secondly, math is used in every aspect of life. If you can do calculations well and fast enough, you will be able to use it in your reality. Like when you go to the market and you buy something, it can be tricky for you if you don't know how to count what is 50% of that product you are going to buy, whether it's gonna offer you benefit or it's another trick, it's another gimmick of the seller. So knowing math helps you a lot in calculating and managing your finance. And lastly, math is always related to other kind of science subjects. Math is one of the most critical and the major subjects that can be relied on by other types of science subjects. You can't calculate physics, you can't do physics um exercises if you don't have math. So is chemistry and biology. So if you can study well math, I believe that you can study any other science subjects well. So all in all, I believe that I want to run to the conclusion that math is one of the most important science subjects that all of us, not not only children, have to learn. Question number 4: should people continue to study science after graduating from school? Well, it depends on their major and their um and their and their work and their job um and there's something in the opportunity. I mean, work opportunity or work chances. If the work related to science, I think we should study. They should study throughout their lifetime and at any time, of course, um, until the death, I guess. However, if your major or your job or your occupation is not really related to subjects, like you are a writer or like you are um, a musician, you don't really need to continue to study science after you graduate. However, you must have general science knowledge so that you can understand the nature, you can deal with some tricky problems that people are asking you, and having those kind of general knowledge helps you a lot in your reality. So yeah, I still suggest that learning science continue uh, continue to learn science after graduate is a good idea. Question number 5: do you get to know about scientific news? How do you get to know about? Well, scientific news are everywhere, I guess. People nowadays, they are really focused on, they put an emphasis, a big, an enormous emphasis on those science subjects and those science um, breakthroughs. So I get those specifically scientific news through news on TV. Of course, they always put news and report something really unconsciously new on the television. And I sometimes go to some scientific report or some newspaper. I don't read newspaper. I read them on the internet because I can find many of them on the internet instead of waiting for another program or another week of magazines and scientific newspaper to come out. I read on the internet, and also I can I scroll over some websites, scientific websites that always have scientific news that can help me in my ground or in the project that I'm looking for, I'm doing. And last question. Question number 6: should scientists explain the research progress to the public? Well, everything have two sides, and this one is also true. Um, I will say that scientific should both explain the research to the research progress process to the public, but they also have to keep them private. So if it is related to the public, the scientific research is related to the public, scientists ought to explain them to public and to the general people so that they can understand and they can know what to do. However, if it is not related or it is too hard for the general public to get it or to get it across, they should keep it private because it won't cost any it won't cause any bad things or anything like that. You're not hurting anyone. So yeah, it's all okay. It's fine if you keep it private. However, something that is important and that related to the general society, I think the process of those scientific research should be clarified to the public. That's what I want to say. Thank you for listening.